Going into this video, I was ready to crap on Sonic Mania. I was ready to lavish praise all over the classic Sonics, and explain in key detail why despite the graphical and functional superiority of their modern nephew, the classics were still the best way to experience Sonic the Hedgehog in all his tainted glory, bar none. Because for me, Sonic 2 for the Sega Genesis was literally the very first video game I remember playing. It's the very first point of reference I have for gaming as a whole. It shaped what I came to expect out of a quality video game, and continues to shine bright in my mind, sitting atop the mountain as a pinnacle of my childhood. How could you expect me to ever even consider turning my back on such a series for what is in essence just a system update of those same games? You couldn't tell me that a 2017 nostalgia trip across 8 classic stages and a few new ones sprinkled in would cleanse my palate, when I could literally just play the classic titles. So you know what? That's what I did. And oh, okay. So Sonic definitely feels like he's trudging through 6 feet of mud right now. Kind of weird for a Sonic game, but okay. And oh, wow. Definitely looks like they ran out of navy blue crayon when drawing this guy. And yikes. Definitely could live the rest of my life not careening into another badnik ever again. So, yeah. I think I'm finally ready to admit these games need a bit of work. The term dated gets thrown around a lot here with these ones, and yeah, that point's already been beaten into the ground by now. I think I've just finally gotten old enough that I'm ready to accept the fact that old relics of my past are just not as ethereal as I built them up in my head as, and subsequently, I'm ready to move on. Albeit somberly. I will always love these games and will always be willing to come back to them just for the nostalgic rush. But facts are facts. Sonic Mania really is the system update the classics needed. Playing as Sonic here has never felt more smooth, more fluid, or more natural. And he's never been any better than he is at keeping momentum than he is right here. Not only that, but these worlds that Sonic moves through, the colors are so them. You know what I mean? None of the colors are washed out by a fog. They are so intense and deep and warm. I've never in 30 lifetimes seen Sonic look so palpable, and I don't think I ever will again. The way the art and these graphics come together to create the bigger picture, it's also appealing to the child in me. It's kind of like watching the ice cream truck pull up to your house as a kid and looking at all the pictures of the brightly colored popsicles and ice cream bars displayed on the side of the truck. It just gets you excited and leaves you wishing you could buy every flavor all at once. As mentioned before, Sonic cannot go any faster than he does right here. As Sonic fans, we are conditioned to crave the adrenaline rush of speeding through loops and spin dashing our way through the levels in mere minutes, sometimes seconds. And Mania delivers that tenfold. I mean, isn't this what we've always wanted? To be cool like Sonic? So cool that we can zip across acres of land and pathway like it's nothing? And then chill out for a second before moving on to our next adventure, like this is that airy day shit? The level design here sets up not just for speed that we can control, but an experience. Oftentimes the level design is in the driver's seat here, carrying us smoothly through the levels like butter via a chain of speed boosts, slopes, and mechanical set pieces. And it does this almost to its detriment. It can often feel like these stages are too easy, as if the game is holding your hand while it runs you through these levels like clockwork. But honestly, it gets you so addicted to the speed and effortlessness of its fluidity that you hardly even notice. I live for this shit, dude. Shoot that right into my veins, bro. So now I hear you asking, why did you title this video Sonic Mania is a Disappointment? Well, I'll tell you why. You ever notice over the last 10 or so years a strange shift in the Sonic series, one geared more towards the nostalgic? One that captures the magic of 16-bit Sonic in a bottle like it's lightning and dumps it on every game that gets churned out in the hopes that the current Sonic titles will appear better by association? And at the same time, by doing this consistently with each new game, Sega is almost admitting that the Sonic of old was a far better franchise than the modern version could ever aspire to be. Sonic Generations is a prime example, literally centering its core concept around the meeting of the classic and the modern, and ripping old stages straight from the classic games. I mean, it literally has the word Generations in the title, almost as if to say, hey, look at how much time has passed. Hey, remember when Sonic used to be good? You see this sort of thing in other titles like Sonic Episode 4 or Sonic Forces, where they keep borrowing from past games to make up ground for newer games because they know the series has fallen so far that any attempts to create something completely fresh and new with Sonic runs too much of a risk of plunging him further into irrelevancy. So the easier and safer thing to do would be to just keep going back to the well and squeezing that sponge of nostalgia over and over again because hey, originality is overrated. And I am so sick of it. I just want something new, man. How many times has Green Hill Zone been remade now? What is that, like 4 or 5 times? That's straight up embarrassing, dude.
How did this happen?
So now you see where I'm going with this. While Sonic Mania breaks new ground in the series through its masterful understanding of classic Sonic gameplay, the son of a gun starts off with yet another rendition of Green Hill Zone. Holy shit! I don't care how much euphoric release the music might bring to your memories. I don't care what kind of groundbreaking impact this stage had on gaming 30 years ago. Enough is enough. Oh, and what's that? The stage that we see follow up the 8th rendition of Green Hill Zone is what now? Chemical Plant Zone? Okay, by this point in the game, the sheer lack of original content is quite off-putting. I didn't pay $20 to replay old games that already exist with a fresh coat of paint. I came here to experience Sonic Mania, a game that to me should symbolize a new era for 2D Sonic. It takes the very best of 2D Sonic, brings him up to speed by working out all his old, dated kinks from the classics, and releases him into an entirely new set of worlds. That's what this game should have been. It definitely should have acknowledged the past, absolutely, but should have done so subtly, not by hitting Control V exactly 8 out of the 12 opportunities it had to do so. Okay, look, I see the value in remaking a few old stages with modern graphics and some new structural tweaks, so maybe completely omitting them from the game would be a bit of an imbalance. But I feel like the focus here with Mania should have been more about creating excitement for the future rather than an orgy of the past that wallows in its own excesses. I think the ratio should have been 9 new stages and 3 remakes. Because let's be real, as much as I actually enjoy this one, nobody asked for Oil Ocean to be in this game. That one was just way too random compared to the other classic remakes, and Lava Reef? Well, I simply just don't like this iteration. It feels way too long in its first act, and there just weren't enough new Mania mechanics added to this one to differentiate it from the old version to me. So yeah, that one's gotta go. The point is, a lot of these remade stages could have been new stages that would have made the game feel more fresh and would have brought something new to the table. And you know the new stages would have all been great. And you want to know how I know that? Studiopolis. My god, this stage is literally perfect. It is seriously the closest thing to perfection that you will find anywhere in gaming. Sonic thrives best in stages where the layout of the land lends him to maintaining a high velocity consistently. And I love how Studiopolis does this so effortlessly. And it doesn't just do so by overusing loops or sloped pathways, but by interweaving set pieces in between said pathways, allowing you a space to take a breath before you set off on another path. A tremendous example of this is the Gallop Lotto Machine in Act 2. You start off gaining some speed down a sloped pathway, where you then jump into a string of bouncy barriers that lead you straight down a glass funnel which, well, funnels you down into this lottery spin ball, and you have to keep running to get it to spin out balls that may or may not reward you with rings or other prizes depending on what balls you get. After you spin your hand, it spits you out into another funnel, which takes you through this crazy electrical transfer tube at an alarmingly fast pace. So by the time you leave the tube, you find yourself shredding, absolutely shredding through a loop-de-loop at the extremely high speed that was given to you by the previous transfer tube. I love how the Gallop Lotto machine completely stops you in your tracks and then encourages you to pick up speed as the lotto balls gradually fly around the machine at a more chaotic rate, almost as if to prepare you for the crazy speed rush that is about to ensue in the next segment of the stage. I think visually, the stage promotes a fun and upbeat atmosphere, letting you know that around this point of the game, the stakes are pretty low and you can just go at your own pace and have fun on your own merits, weaving through all the various paths, tubes, and funnels. I think the concept of having a stage be based around a film studio built by Eggman is a unique concept that could honestly be fleshed out to more than one stage. If the effort was put in, that is. It does feel weird how this stage kinda just comes and goes and you don't really see it affect the story too much outside of being a place that Sonic just kinda passes through on his way to Eggman. Seems like a place this expensive would make for quite the significant base of operations for Eggman. You know, to produce some visual propaganda or something like that, or drum up some craziness. And you know, Sonic would probably be very interested in taking that sort of thing down, as he is often one to do. Nevertheless, the visuals and music here also effectively add to the overall hustle and bustle of the world. And I cannot believe I just used that phrase. You see little dancing Eggman cartoons and giant popcorn machines that shoot you into the sky. And I love how when you get to Act 2, that hustle and bustle is turned up to 11. Lights are far brighter here. Platforms are moving at a quicker pace. There's just generally a lot more going on in this second act. You can feel this via the slight differences in the music between acts as well. In Act 1, the music is poppy and jazz-like, almost like it has a swing to it. This is the first act, you know? Things are chill. Business as usual at this here movie studio or whatever it is. And then you hit Act 2, and the tempo picks up, matching the frantic energy of the stage itself, possibly mirroring what an actual studio might look like if, say, someone just walked in there and deleted all their movies? What? So yeah, Studiopolis, that is just one example of what the development team is capable of creating with completely new stages. And that's not even mentioning Press Garden or Mirage Saloon Zones. And no, I'm not including Titanic Monarch in this conversation because honestly, this one kind of missed. I think it's an ambitious concept having you climb this massive robot, and while I respect the effort put here, it just doesn't do it for me. Act 1 is just so damn long, and it's basically a straight shot with no diverging pathways of any kind along the way. And Act 2 is just traveling into 4 mini dungeons that shoot you back to the starting room, I guess? And honestly, that's kind of more of a Zelda thing than a Sonic thing. But yeah, Press Garden, Mirage Saloon, just like Studiopolis, are both insanely smooth stages. I won't go into great depth with these two like I did with Studiopolis, and that's partly due to the fact that Studiopolis is the creme de la creme and needs to be treated as such. But we'll be here all night if I go on and on about these stages. Just take my word for it. The new stages in Sonic Mania in general are easily the most fun, interesting, and smoothest levels in the entire game. Better than Flying Battery, better than Stardust Speedway, and yes, better than Chemical Plant Zone with the cutesy little Mean Bean Machine boss fight at the end. Fight me. So, circling back, if Christian Whitehead and Headcanon Studios were able to create levels as fun to play as Press Garden and Mirage Saloon, If they were able to craft a world as legendary as Studiopolis, imagine what they could have accomplished with 9 of these new stages. As said before, there's definitely a spot at the table for HD remakes of classic stages. I think that would make for some great DLC for future titles, but there's just so much missed opportunity here, I feel like. 4 new stages is just not enough, especially when 3 of the 4 of them are just this damn good, like top tier quality stages. The remade stages are great, but when I see what this game could have been than what it is, I am left disappointed. This game could have been a full set of new stages that broke new ground for the series and firmly established the next step in the evolution of 2D Sonic. Instead, what we got was a minute sample of that, and the rest was just back to the same old song and dance. Let's go back to the past and relive glory days of Sonic, and let's keep reliving them over and over again. And fuck the future. The future don't mean dick. We're all hurtling toward oblivion anyways. So let's just stay stuck in the past when things were better and not establish anything substantial for the next decade. And I'm getting really pissed off just talking about it. My cage is rattled. Sonic Mania is a disappointment. Not because it isn't clearly a quality game with quality graphics and expertly designed stages. This game is all of those things. It's easily the best 2D Sonic game in terms of quality control and overall maturity of the gameplay style, and arguably is the best one overall in the whole series. Sonic Mania is a disappointment because it failed to write its own history. It failed to establish its own identity. Had Christian Whitehead and Headcanon done the right thing and given us a completely original game with original set of stages created by them, I am fully confident in saying this would have been the greatest Sonic the Hedgehog video game of all time. I'm serious. Looking at the bona fide masterpiece that is Studiopolis, as well as the incredible complexity and attention to detail shown in Mirage Saloon and Press Garden, it's obvious that the development team have an understanding of 2D Sonic level design that goes far beyond that of Sega, or anyone else for that matter. I mean, it says a lot that the development team were able to take what they knew about 2D Sonic and create their own original levels, and have 3 of the 4 of them be so dang good that they are easily better than at least 75% of all 2D Sonic stages in existence. And that includes all the stages from previous games. While I'm at it, why don't I compliment the chef a bit more? I probably didn't make this clear enough earlier in the video through all my ranting, but all the remade levels here are great as well, minus 1 or 2 of them. They are definitely on the same level as the new stages in terms of design. The problem with them is that they all already exist in other games, and were just reworked to be better than the original versions. Hell, some of these acts feel like they were ripped straight from the classics with hardly any changes made to them besides updated graphics. Regardless of all of that, these levels are consistently well designed. It's just tragic that Headcanon couldn't have applied themselves to making more new content when it's clear they could have created something legendary had they done so. Sonic Mania is a blast to play and probably one of my favorite Sonic games. But no matter how much fun I have playing it here, there will always be the slight tinge of disappointment in the back of my mind. Disappointment born from the desire to see this game be so much better than what it already is. You see, I'm hard on this game because I love it, and I know I would have probably loved it more than anything in the world had it just forged its own path. It's been 5 years now since this game came out, and with news of a free roam Sonic game on the horizon, the prospect of a Sonic Mania sequel coming out anytime in the near future feels less and less likely, and that only leaves me feeling more disappointed than ever. I can only hope that soon enough Sega will remember those of us Sonic fans who still need that classic 2D Sonic itch scratched, and hopefully they will be smart enough to give Christian Whitehead a call.